Hi guys, I'm Lisa for wtfLisaTarot, and this is another one of those weird things talking about dreams, so it's not like a reading. I mentioned, earlier this week in two different videos about two different weird dreams I had, and then things that I am now aware of that I had no idea before. And one of those things was, I usually sleep great. I have no problems. So I was attacked by a night hag, which is like a sleep paralysis demon, the other day at like 7 in the morning, which I read they usually come at 3 in the morning, but I was awake at 3 and I went back to sleep. I had never heard of this before, nothing. Anyway, weird dreams. Second night, I can't remember if it was the next day or 2 days later. I'm in bed, I'm sleeping, and I'm having this dream where I am asleep. Same circumstances, but the lighting is odd, so I knew it was a dream. And this thing appears. It's pretty cool looking. Like, it was all black. It was to my left, which I don't know why that's important, but it feels so. And it had red eyes. So at first I'm thinking, oh, fuck, this ain't good. But then at the foot of my bed are like 3 or 4 night hags, and they're all like crying, and they seem like they're in trouble. They're not like they're there to like, oh, let's get her as a team. It's like, oh, nuts, we gotta go to detention. That was their vibe, and it was like, the fuck. And then and it's a dream, so bear in mind craziness. And I just remember telling the shadow thing with the red eyes, giving it orders in my mind and in a really cool voice, not like a demonic voice, but it was still like cool like that, to go, take care of them, take them out, go back to who sent them, take care of them, and then after that it is free to choose what it wants to do, because I don't own it or something like that. And the night hag's like disintegrated, screaming, crying in pain, and it's like, what the fuck is that? And then the thing said it was just gonna come back and like protect my house. And then later I woke up and was like, that's fucking weird. What? So then last night, actually the last 2 nights in a row, I had this weird dream where I just look out my window and there's a million of those shadow things with red eyes just guarding my house all around. And it's peaceful, and I slept awesome. I actually slept in the last 2 days. I'm usually up at like, no matter what time I go to bed, I'll still wake up around 3, and I'll be up for a bit, and I may or may not go back to sleep. In this case, I've been able to sleep straight through the last few nights. Peaceful as fuck, no bad dreams other than, and I don't feel like these entities with the red eyes, it sounds like they're scary, but they're not at all. I always got a very peaceful vibe from them. And one of the funniest things to me is in real life, the same day I had that dream, I went to a public place to run an errand, and when I walked in, there was a man in there. His face, everything covered in tattoos. He had, big gauges. He had an unusual haircut. I don't know how to describe it. I don't know how to describe it. He had a biker jacket. He had a motorcycle outside. And usually when people see those type of guys, automatically their thought is like terror. They just judge. But for some reason, like, I just felt like a really cool energy from him, as though he was like a good soul. So I smiled at him, just, like, hello. And then he just seemed scared. He like looked at me so scared and stunned. Like, I don't know, like, I really could feel like I scared him, or it was a vibe. Sometimes I get like, oh, you can see me, and then I realize it's not like a person, it's something else. That sounds nuts, because it is. So anyway, I do my thing. We end up leaving at the same time, and we drive the same way. Part of the way he is behind me in traffic, part of the way he's next to me, and part of the way he's in front. And it was just so funny to me, because I'm like, man, I feel like I have this big badass bodyguard, like, getting me home. And it, even though that wasn't the case, obviously we're just two strangers driving the same direction, but like, I already just felt like he had this really cool vibe, like a good energy vibe, good soul. And then it was just like, well, you know what, I'm very excited, to have this escort home. And then right before we got to my house is, we separated ways. He doesn't know where I live or anything. It was just random. But it was funny to me. It's like I had that encounter, he seemed surprised that I smiled at him. Like, it really felt like I scared this man. But I'm like, he just, standing by the door, had good energy. Like, it was like, hello, I don't care. But I brought up the tattoos and everything because I noticed when other people were coming in, they were looking at him differently than I did. So that's why I hung on to that. And then also, too, it was like I don't come across people with good energy like that very often, as they don't exist in large numbers. So it was almost like, oh, thank God another one is around, because I live in Vegas, so we have like a huge majority of soulless beings here. It's not great. So when you come across good energy in Vegas, it's like, oh, thank goodness. And sometimes, angels in disguise. You never know when you're entertaining angels. I think back to those sayings.